You are listening to a production of the Weibo Podcast Network.
Hello, welcome to episode 23, season 2 of Tiger SportsPage. I'm your host, Angelina Lopez. We took a week off for spring break, but now we're back and ready for the home stretch into the summer. Tiger SportsPage is a weekly program and YouTube program dedicated to all things Lancaster ISD sports. Lancaster ISD, for those who don't know the geography, is in the Dallas/Fort Worth Metroplex in the North Texas, just south of Dallas. Lancaster High School, most of what we cover here in this podcast, is a member of the Texas University Interscholastic League and plays at the 6A division, which is a division with the largest schools with the biggest populations. We cover all of that. Now, on today's program, we're joined today by our athletic director, Kendrick Brown. Hello, sir. How are you today?
Angelina, doing great. It's good to be back. A week of spring break, and they call this the stretch run of the school year. So we're excited to finish it up strong.
Our winter sports have come to a close, and our spring season has started. But before we go into spring, I would like to talk about our winter season.
Okay.
There was some expectations placed on each sport, each regarding their past performances. Would you say that they met the standards we held them to?
I think met and when you talk about meeting standards, and we felt like the conclusion of that, you could really look at that. The girls' basketball team had a great run. One game from finishing an opportunity to compete for a state championship. So that was a phenomenal feat from our girls. And so very proud of what they accomplished this year, going from a playoff team of 1 to 2 rounds to the state semifinals. I think says a lot about our girls. That team, the coaching staff under the direction of Coach Howard. So really proud of that for them. Boys basketball, a district championship. Really, again, I know the end result at that program under Coach Douglas, every year the goal is to win a state championship. Regardless of the round, we had an early exit, but I do think those kids, the players, the coaches, he had a number of seniors this year. Those guys will leave Lancaster High School as champions. We won a state championship last year. Still, there's a. We want to thank those guys. We want to thank them for bringing a state championship to Lancaster. Those seniors that did that. For those that are coming back, it doesn't change. We'll look forward to seeing them get back in the saddle and compete for another state championship. Girls and boys soccer concluded. I do think there were a lot of strides that were taking place within soccer. There were a lot of competitive games during district play. There was some growth there. I will say that's an area of girls, boys soccer where next year we're hoping that we can take that next step there. What's the next step for them? Is to be in the area to where we can compete for a playoff spot. I think that soccer is longing for that. I do think there's some there was some youth there. There's some returning players there. The thing that they've got to do, and we'll really do everything we can to help, is to really have a good, strong off season, a good summer, and again, that's two sports that we would like to see them join the ranks of the playoffs here in the near future. So that kind of gives us a rundown of that. I got to say, boys and girls wrestling was a real. It was a successful season there. There were some really good qualifiers that qualified for our regional tournament. We had a great representation at that meet. And again, they have some competitors coming back next year. I think the bar is really set the stage is set for them to have some state qualifiers next year. So Good year so far. We haven't really met that goal that I have for us is to bring home a state championship in 6A yet, but that's our goal. We've got some spring sports coming up, and so again, I still think we've got a good chance to capitalize there.
Yeah, well, going more into that, what sports in particular would you have wished for a different outcome? What would you have wanted them to improve in?
The two main their combo sports. I think it's girls and boys soccer.
Yeah.
I really I know the kids are. There was a lot of hard work put into the season. Angelina, you're a part of that team, and so the goal again. I think you always have to strive. I've always said if you hadn't won the whole deal, if you hadn't won a state championship, then everybody in some type of way you're not winning if you're not doing that. So. But we need to get in that company to where we can get in the tournament, the postseason play. And so we've really got to, as an athletic director, really take a deep dive and really look at have some serious conversations with our coaches about what are some of the things we're missing, how can we get there, how can we improve, because we can't continue to do the same thing over and over if we want to have different results. And we're saying we want results of playoffs, but we really have got to change some things up. We really got to strategize a little differently. We've got to look at our workouts. We've got to look at maybe a better support from the athletic director of what I maybe can do to help there. But I think if we really, and I do believe that wholeheartedly, if you want change, if you really want improvement, then you're going to have to do some things differently. So we'll look forward to that. That's kind of the job of the athletic director, and working with the coaches and coaches getting input from players and let's see what we can do to do something a little bit different to get us better in those areas.
In contrast to that, what are some sports that you met your expectations, and why do you think they reached those expectations?
I wouldn't say you say met expectations. I think the way I look at a lot of our sports, and I've said this a number of times, you've got sports programs that have a chance to win the state championships. That's the goal. You have some programs where the goal is to get into the postseason play, and then once you get into postseason play, whatever happens. And so we've got that piece, and then you've got some programs where they're struggling to improve in the win-loss category to really show some strides. You look at what's up and coming with baseball, softball. They have already thus far. They've come up with a good number of wins in the preseason and the pre-district play. They're both in district play, and so I'm hoping by the time we visit toward the end of the year, my next visit, that we're seeing some good positive news about those sports and what they're got going.
Now that we've wrapped up that winter season, let's move on to our spring season.
Mm-hmm.
Our baseball and softball season has started, both coming in with an impressive preseason. What are your expectations for each of those teams?
I think right now, I kind of did a little precursor to that just in that previous segment, but baseball and softball both. I'll talk to them because they were two programs that were really pretty much at the same level when you look at wins and losses from the previous year. Both those programs have shown this far in the early stages of the season that number one, that they have improved. Number two, the new coaching, the new leadership that's in place, you're seeing an impact that's having within the program with wins. You're also seeing an impact right now with the confidence level of our players. And so the thing that they both, baseball and softball, have to do now is, again, we're in this 6A district. It's a tough district. The thing that they're going to have to show, not only have they improved, but the grit that you need to have when you reach some adversity throughout the district play. How well can we maneuver with that? How quickly can we bounce back from a loss to get a win? Or how satisfied are we going to be after a few wins? Do we continue to have that same hunger? So I really look forward to both of those programs. I think there's some true and realistic expectations of playoffs there, and that's kind of showing that's coming to be true. But again, they have to go play the games, and we, the high school, the district, the city of Lancaster, I think it's a good time to get behind both those programs and root them on to playoffs.
As well as our baseball and softball team, our track and field season has started. For those of you who haven't heard, this past Thursday, our Lady Tigers track team broke a national record in the 4x100 relay, becoming the fastest in the nation, breaking the record that was once placed in 2019. With that being said, what expectations do we have for our women's and track team this 2025 season?
I just think in what you just said, Angelina, of course, that's the big news of that happened last Thursday with our girls 4x1. And the thing that it really makes you think about and want to say is, wow, that is really just
impressive.
Man, it's impressive. It's something that you're talking about a school record. You're talking about a state record. You've now talking about a national record. Won a 4x1 relay team that has run the fastest ever in the nation. I think really coming to grips of what that means right now is just surreal. I will say this, though, the hats off again. You look at those young ladies, those four young ladies. First of all, if you look at their careers since they've been here at Lancaster, they were a big part of that state championship run last year. And so what they've done now, number one, I will say they're really talented. They're fast. Each one of those girls, they can run. But the thing that they also can do and that you see in them every day is just their attitude and how they go about working every day. That's really impressive. And so when you put that talent and you put that attitude that they have, that hard work that they have, I think you seeing what you saw on last Thursday, and we couldn't be more proud of not only of those four young ladies, but the coaches, Coach Lakedra Hayes and her coaching staff. That is something that's legendary. That is something that who knows it. I think I'll say this though. It's going to be. I don't know the excitement of what they did on Thursday. The excitement I think is going to double, triple, quadruple each and every time they step on the track and run, because they're going to have an opportunity to break that record each and every time. So big props to them and what they did. Big props again to just that girls track program, because I do think they do a great job of just being a championship program. And so we're expecting big things from them. I know the thing that they've got to do is they've got, of course, got to go to district, area, regionals, and state. And the goal for that program is a state championship. And so they will tell you that what they do. Also, the boys' side, there's been a lot of good things happening in our boys' track program under the direction of Coach Jeremy Warner and his staff. And so they've run some really good times this year. I really think the peaking of that program is starting to occur. They're starting to get healthy. And we really are excited about seeing them compete in the district, area, regional, and state meet. So high expectations are always in store for our boys and girls track program. But you've got to give a special shout out, special salute to that girls 4x1 team on breaking that national record. We do.
Thank you so much. Have I forgotten to ask you anything, or would you like to add anything?
No, I just think, again, I appreciate you guys. I think even for you to be able to have this podcast and for us to even it lets us know we're in a special place to even talk about a relay team that broke a national record. So
It's exciting.
It is exciting. The school should be excited. The district should be excited. The city of Lancaster should be excited. And then it's big for the DFW area too, because those girls represent all of those areas. And I want to give a special shout out to their parents and their families, because I know they're extremely proud of what those girls accomplished on last Thursday. So we thank everyone, and I want to say that truthfully, all of our seniors that have participated in our fall and our winter sports, and we wish everyone the best of luck. I wish you the best of luck in your time that you've had here with us, and just know you're welcome to come back and and interview and spend time with us anytime. You're always a part of Weibo Nation.
Thank you for tuning in this week. Come back next week as we will be interviewing our head women's basketball coach, LaJenna Howard, and our head men's basketball coach, Farron Douglas. To those of you listening to the podcast on your favorite podcast app, either Apple Podcast or iHeart or Spotify, please like and rate us. That will allow us to appear higher in ranking and gain more listeners. If you're watching the YouTube feed, which comes out a bit later than the audio feed, please like and subscribe to the channel. You will be notified every time we post a new video. Tiger Sports Page is a production of the Weibo Podcast Network. It is produced with cooperation of Lancaster ISD Department of Athletics and Lancaster ISD Department of Communications. Thank you again, and thank you for listening and watching. I'm Angelina, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
This has been a production of the Weibo Podcast Network.